Hello, I am here. I am Technical Breach visiting. So, because I started this as a live series, I might as well keep playing it as one. It's a little late, but it is what it is. Oh, yeah, there's a mission over there. Hang on. Options. Let's turn on developer commentary. I want to go back and view the commentaries. Next perk I get, I want to try this. Conduits. It's a lot of good perks, but damn, if they this limitation in the main story is pain. Die. Funeral chick. With stack. Yeah, right. Really nice. Missions. Oh, cannot be replayed. Wait, why not? Let's try back here then. I wonder if there's a... Oh yeah, there's one. And just run up and grab
So
this.
how was this project different for you? Obviously it's 3D rather than 2D. There's tons of like technical differences, but what like stood out?
Yeah, this project was essentially like merging together everything I'd learned on Gunpoint and Heat Signature with like 2D drawing and proper concepting and trying to develop an art style and being able to use all my old 3D knowledge again. So it was really nice to kind of come full circle again.
Yeah, I mean that was extremely lucky for me too, because the chances that the artist you work with for the pixel art game and the artist you work with for the 2D non-pixel art game also happens to be able to do all aspects of 3D art is pretty 1 in a million. So yeah, that was extremely useful.
Well, the way I get through life is by being unexceptional at many things.
I think I would strongly disagree with that. So what about the art style for this game? How did you kind of zero in on that?
I knew I wanted to be 3D. We were looking at 3D engines like Unity from a very early stage, and I had two things in mind. One, I knew if it was just going to be me on the project, or principally me, we could not do a very high fidelity, realistic look. We didn't really have time for me to go off sculpting high-res things and baking and creating intense, lush environments and stuff. And I think the other thing was that I was kind of obsessed with the low poly movement. It's very much a game-centric art movement. You don't really find it in other forms of media. It's very unique, and it's essentially doing as much as you can with low poly counts and good lighting. And there's some really...
Oh, dang. It ends the commentary. Can't go back. Oh. Okay, I accidentally clicked to move on. Alright, if they're taking the chopper to Kalan, they'll be leaving from the southwest facility with the helipad. We've still got no chance against Liv, but if we get there early, we can catch some of our goon squad alone and whittle down their numbers. I thought you already beat the traffic guy back at Stonecliff. We didn't kill him. God, don't tell me you're one of those outfits that kill 100 henchmen and suddenly grow a moral compass when it comes to the fuckers responsible. No, we don't kill henchmen either. No killing. Oh, so you're not hypocrites. You're just toothless all around. Oof, damn right. Liv won't get there till the last minute. She's never early, because nothing can make her late. The rest of them will rush, because they're terrified of her, so we might be able to catch them at the hangar before she gets there. Then we'd better gear up. Hopefully before dust off. Just to check, you are on board with the whole no killing thing, right, Banks? For now. I ask because you're the only one carrying an inherently lethal weapon. My gun? That's a medical instrument. I only use it for cranial interventions. I think cranial interventions are what he's worried about. I don't fire it in combat, and I never shoot anyone I can't be sure I'll have a chance to rest. Okay, good. Unless I want them to die. I think that's all we're getting then. Battle dudes, use the laptop. Don't let alarm go beep beep. Okay. Feel like this man needs to get sent to the Shadow Realm. Double hit. Thought I can double hit them. Yay. Yeah. Shoot. And give you a door. Here. We can go boom, boom, and then send you to the Shadow Realm. Hit these guys with a sedative. Take cover. Run in. Oh, you didn't die. Okay. You don't quite need to run into that far. Okay.
So when we design levels for Tactical Breach Wizards, we just lay them out in the most kind of bare bones way. It is literally just walls, floors, cover, and a few other interactable things. And then there's a magic little thing called the art finisher that comes in and puts all the art in to make that work with whatever tile set we're chosen, and you can change the tile set really easily. And that is pretty much entirely John Winder's work. So John, how does it work?
So the first thing it does is, well, I guess the first thing is you don't even have to put in all the walls.
That's true.
Will look through the border. It will find any place where there's empty space next to a ground tile and add a wall there for you. That saves a lot of time having to add individual walls all around the border of every level. But then the next thing it does is you attach a tile set to the level. And the tile set has some mappings from like, oh, this is a ground tile, this is a door, this is a window. And it then goes through a process of assigning the art tiles to the gameplay tiles. And on a basic level, it looks for what type of tile is this, and what does this tile set have. And then it does a few more complicated things so that the art looks good and not too repetitive. The first thing is each tile can be defined with how many times it can appear in the level, once or twice, or as many as you need. The second thing is how close it can be to a copy of that tile, which ensures that you don't get the same poster on a wall right next to each other repeatedly. And the third thing is we have multi-tiles, and these allow like a nice big art piece like a desk whenever the level designer only placed 2 cover tiles next to each other. And the final thing is tags, which let us use parts of a tile set instead of the whole tile set randomly. I think for the police office, or for the police department, we use that to have like offices and a lobby without needing to make a new tile set for everything.
Yeah, this was a big debate as we went along in terms of how much control should the level designer have over the art that gets used, because I came from a place of none, basically. It's like, I just want to, when I'm doing level design, I just want to place the blocks, and then art should figure itself out. Not so much because of the difficulty of designing a level with manually placed art, but because the difficulty of editing a level like that. Like once you start specifying a lot of different things about level, and then you decide you need to change the layout.
Right, and a lot of the things that I added were allowing it to lay out tiles in a way that John Roberts thought it worked well with his art. Like, as I said, don't duplicate things too near each other and make his great art look bad.
Yeah, and the tag system was kind of the compromise we came to, the sort of the happy middle ground where you don't have to specify anything about art, and the art finisher will just fill it all in. But then if you do have some specific requirements of like, this certain room in the Villa Medill should have mostly office furniture rather than sort of museum pieces, then you can specify that if you want. And even then, you don't specify which museum piece or office furniture you want there, you just specify a category, and then the art finisher figures it out, right?
Okay, when we breach, I want you to keep in mind this room isn't as scary as it looks. What makes you say that? Blind optimism. Are there heavies? Won't lie, there are a lot of heavies. I hate them. It should be illegal to clip someone if they're in cover. It is illegal, they're trying to kill us. Not in Liberty. If they're trespassing, there's basically nothing they can't do. It's why shady security corps like Reactor loves it here. I thought it was mainly the tax breaks. The tax breaks don't hurt. Window. Okay. Can I send one of these guys to the shadow room? There are a lot of heavies. Wait. No. I can just do one of these. Yeah. You go to the shadow room. And then all of you have drugs. And then all of you get breach grenaded. Bye bye. Then you get transferenced to, you're going to do full damage, so let's just make you blast this man. So then we lead away. Skill issue. And then we blast the shit out of you. Take the thing. False Prophet at the door. And then you can just if Zan wasn't there, I could probably window breach. Okay, Zan, different plan. Go here. I can't hit myself with the breach, can I? Dang. Can I? I mean the grenade. Time boost then. Get time boosted. We do a movement grenade. And get spectral skulls. Got him. Oh, I see. I should have been here, because then I could line up a predictive. Okay, let's take it back, take it back, take it right back. Okay, so you know what? Experience yourself. Go here. Got him. Everybody get drugs. And you to the shadow room. Oh. Oh shoot! I need to have Jen move there so that she can teleport. What do I? Do I really need to? Maybe it would be beneficial. Go get shot. Shadow room. Drugs. Go grenade. And then in here. Shit. Prophet doesn't go far enough. Okay, there we go. Prophet. No, I need Zen to be, okay, different plan. Yep, okay, here. We cannot therefore send Prophet, so let's just set this up. Fakes cannot move, so let's broom over here. Yeah. Seal it. Oh, you didn't get ended. Boo. Wait, that was 2? I'll pick it up next, right after this guy gets ended. Nice. Oh, good grenade. 3 actions at 1 turn. Okay. So in other words, I just killed these heavies far too quickly to be able to get the upgrade points. I mean the confidence points. I'll come back to that one. Neutralizer, yes. Thanks, I hit one when we were getting her Arcana. Reactors have anti-magic tech? I don't love that. They can't stop you throwing stuff, at least. No one can stop you throwing stuff. There's a guy enjoying who can make your arms go limp, but only after eating lots of celeriac, and he has to stare at the floor the whole time. I don't think we'll run into him. Rent 5, finish in 1, transfer 4. Okay. Immediately get targeted down, so that's... This guy's gonna do 4. Can we just send it first, and then breach? Or will that cancel the effect? No, I just can't cast while I'm doing that, so... I guess we just leave, right?
So this is a neutralizer. When they target you, you can't use any spells while they're targeting you. So within a turn, who they target is going to be changing, and you can manipulate that. Obviously, a bit being able to rewind and try different things will let you kind of manipulate this. They represent like one of the ways that we try to have enemies that can push back at you as your power starts to escalate. Starting with Act 2 and continuing throughout the rest of the game, your team's just going to get so powerful that we have to push back in ways that go outside the normal bounds of just like, if you let them shoot you, they'll do a lot of damage. And this is always tricky because the kind of pushing you need to do for it to matter is always going to ruffle some feathers, like almost by definition, because if you don't ruffle any feathers, you're not changing how people play, and therefore it's not an interesting challenge. So we don't expect neutralizers to be anyone's favorite enemy. They're not really there to give you a more fun time. They're there to give you a more interesting time. They are there to shake up what you're doing and make you rethink things and make you think differently during your turn. That's one of the main things they do, is you have to worry about them during your turn, not just at the end of your turn. And one of the ways I wanted to encourage that is just about making their AI as simple as possible. Like, I don't want you to have to really get inside their head and think about their targeting priority. It's just the closest person. They're just going to target the closest person. So once you know that, you can generally find a way to get their aim off someone you don't want it to be on, and then it just becomes a question of juggling, getting them to target one person while you do another. This is a sort of class of enemy. I don't have a word for it yet, but enemies that disrupt the player's normal strategies. It's a very delicate balance to ride. You're always going to annoy some people, but you kind of have to do it. If you don't do it, then people can just settle into the same patterns, and then they'll complain that the game is repetitive. So to some extent, you have to sort of accept that you're going to cause a little bit of discomfort with an enemy like that, but it is for the greater good of the game.
Right, he's gonna shoot first, isn't he? So I kinda need to leave this heavy guy alive if I'm going to get transfer 4 damage. Frick. Prevent 5 reinforcements. What is this? This is a tracker. This is a neutralizer. So reply. Just shut you off. Actually, no, we have to take that transfers back now. Yeah, as soon as I open up, I'm just gonna get looked at. He's just gonna look at me weirdly. Really, I can't shoot my gun. My gun, like, gets shut off. Although banks can just give him the drugs, I guess. Just chuck the tape player at him. By turn 1, transfer 4 damage at once. Prevent 5. Did that count? That did count. But if I take it back, it doesn't count. But I want to actually take that transference back, because I just realized that I can still go here. And so I get take player. And then, now that I'm not being thingoed, I can Go here. Send. Send. Doors are locked. And then, so shoot yourself. Lol. You should end yourself now. A question about the Celeriac guy. I think he'd probably want to be known as the Limp Arms guy. I think anyone wants to be known as the Limp Arms guy. My question is, how did he unlock? when would you ever desperately need to make someone's arm go limp? Maybe he didn't. What? Maybe someone he didn't like was carrying something he wanted to break. Okay, but that's want. To unlock, you gotta need it. Maybe someone was carrying him away from his beloved Celeriac. I don't know if he likes Celeriac. Maybe he hates it. Oh my god. No, I'm sad about Limp Arms guy. I was never not sad about Limp Arms guys. Okay, what the heck? We should reach the store and stop World War 5. Or should we stop and write a book about Limp Arms guy? Breach, I guess. 9 to fenestrate 2 in one turn. Okay.
So Predictive Shot is obviously a powerful ability that you have to use in a particular way. And it created one of the hardest design problems I had to solve in the whole game. It was on the back burner for years because it was never like vital to solve it, but it was bothering me and I just couldn't find a neat solution. So originally Predictive Bolt, you could use it as many times in a turn as you liked, even without getting any perks for it. So that was to encourage you to use it because you have to think ahead. It's very much using Predictive Bolt means thinking in a tactical Breach Wizardsy way. It's the way we want players to think. It's like, let's plan ahead, let's use abilities together, let's combine things, let's have a setup and a knockdown to my plan. So we wanted people to use it, so we made it super powerful, it's free, you could reuse it, and I didn't want to mess with that. But the problem was, there's a sort of a borderline exploit with it, or there was. So we love that you can set up a Predictive Bolt and then push Zan instead of pushing an enemy to get someone in it. I love that you can aim a Predictive Bolt at like a closed door and then just open the door to have it trigger on somebody. There's so many ways to sort of almost cheat it. You know, this idea that you're predicting is, you're encouraged to screw with that idea and make it a mockery, as long as you're following the rules we set out. You know, that's what I love doing as a player, is you told me the rules, I'm going to use the rules in a way you probably didn't expect and get this great advantage out of it. So we love people doing that, we want you to do that. But there was one case that just kind of sucked. I think it was really fun when you discovered it, but then it was just too good, which is, so one of the ways you can block Predictive Shot, basically you have somebody stand between Zan and an enemy, and they need to be adjacent to cover, and then Zan can aim a Predictive Bolt at his friend, and that's fine, even though it's in the direction of an enemy, because currently that shot is blocked. Then the friend just ducks, and you trigger Predictive Bolt on the enemy, and then they can just stand up again, because that's free, and you can Predictive Bolt again, because in those days it was free and reusable. And then
I see where that's going. Right, yeah.
And so it's clever, but it makes taking on any tough enemy kind of boring, because this ability does 4 damage. It's one of those powerful abilities in the game. And now there's a way to just repeatedly, as long as you can set that up against an enemy, now you just repeat that until they're dead. So the health bar becomes irrelevant. And that's too good. Like, it's too powerful for how interesting it is. It's interesting the first time you do it. It's not interesting to repeat. And once you realize, like, oh, I can just take out every tough enemy in the game this way, it risks kind of really spoiling the experience. And I think most people probably wouldn't repeatedly do it forever. I mean, I wouldn't as a player, I think. But no, even if you can resist that temptation, just knowing it's there makes the fun solutions you come up with less fun, because you know, well, I didn't have to do this. I could have just done the Predictive Shot trick. But I was really stuck on how to fix this, because it's like I say, it's just the kind of thinking we want you to do. So I hate to say it just shouldn't work, and I hate to say, like, oh, you can't aim at your friend because if the friend ducks, then there would be an enemy in the way, and therefore that breaks the rules of Predictive Shot. No. Like, if it doesn't hit them now, then it should be fine. we tried a lot of different things. One of my plans was like, maybe we just let you do it, but Zan starts talking to you and saying like, we're just going to do this all day, are we? And kind of insults you about it. I think that's fun, but it doesn't solve the design problem of like, yeah, but you can still do it. And so you're always going to know, I could just take out this boss the cheesy way. I really wanted like a solution that didn't feel heavy-handed and awkward. Another one we tried was tired legs. Look, bear with me. This made more sense at the time. Which was, we're very generous with free actions in Breach Resist. Something's, if it doesn't cost you an action, doesn't cost you a mana, and it doesn't have limited uses, then it's purely free. You can just do it an infinite number of times in a level. And that does lead to some exploits. So this idea that you can take cover and leave cover, and take cover and leave cover, and take cover like an infinite number of times in the same turn without even moving in the same spot is a little bit ridiculous. So my idea, I didn't want to limit take cover. You should always be able to take cover no matter what. But my idea was to limit leave cover to 2 uses per turn. So you can do it, you can go into cover, you can leave cover, you can go back into cover. I think it might have been 1 use per turn actually, so then you couldn't leave the second time. And of course you still got rewind, so you can get out of it if that wasn't what your intention, but it was supposed to just catch you if you're exploiting it. It was messy, but everyone who hit that was like, what the fuck? Why can't I stand up now? And sure, you can rewind out of it, but it's still just annoying. The other solution we tried was that maybe Predictive Bolt is just disallowed on the same target if you haven't moved, which is a very kind of rules lawyery kind of niggly exception that didn't feel good, but the advantage of it was you'd only hit that problem if you were trying the exploit. So it is, in that sense, there's a design solution. It was nice and limited in scope. You're only going to hit this if you are having the bad experience, the potentially bad experience of just repeatedly shooting the same enemy until they die. The way we solved it, which I guess you know because you've been playing with this rule all along,
Yes.
just, I wish I had a better story about how you get to the right solution to a problem like this, but it just came out of the blue. It was just like, wait a minute, the problem isn't repeating yourself. It isn't that you keep doing it in the same position. The problem is when you're using it repeatedly on the same enemy. That's what I don't want. I don't want you to be able to kill any enemy no matter how high their health. So what if Predictive Bolt is just 1 use per turn, but if you kill someone with it, it refunds that action. Because then you can't repeatedly use it on the same enemy. Because if you didn't kill them, you don't get the action back. You don't get the use back, rather. And there's no way to replenish uses. So that solves it, right? And has the added benefit of there are some fun cases where if you want to do that trick to kill like 3 enemies in a row, I think that's awesome. Like, that's really powerful, but it's also just really fun. And that's going to feel good. That doesn't feel like repeating yourself, right? You are repeating the same tactic, but if those 3 guys line themselves up, even better, if you line them up by throwing like a Gale Grenade to get them into the right position, that's fantastic. I really hope people have that experience, and now it's allowed here. The only problem with the solution is that it takes some explaining. This idea that you're going to get this ability very early on. It's second mission of the game. We introduced this. I want you to fully understand it. I want you to feel comfortable with it. I want you to like it and use it. And if we have to say, well, this thing is 1 use per turn unless you kill someone with it, and then you get the use back, and then we actually can't say kill because technically you don't kill anyone in Tactical Breach Resist. It's like knock them out, but then people can get confused about what do you mean by knock out? Is that a special thing I have to do? I have to like gas them or something? So there's all kinds of complexity there. And there's a lesson I learnt. I believe I heard this from my friend Alex Wiltshire when he interviewed Epic about making Fortnite. They were having, this is the previous version of Fortnite before it was a battle royale, and they had some perk or some quirk of an ability that people weren't using, and they managed to make way more people use it by locking it off behind an upgrade. So people had to go and actually purchase it, which is very counterintuitive. Usually if you want to make people use something, you make it more available, not less available. But by making it less available, locking it behind an upgrade, everybody saw that upgrade, saw the explanation of what it did, and then if they bought it, they sure as hell used it because they paid for it now. So we did the same thing with Predictive Bolt. I don't know if it worked yet. we'll see how people found this ability and if they're still using it as much as I want them to. But the idea of locking that behind a perk point, it's a very powerful ability anyway. If you are going to use this multiple times per turn, if you're that kind of player, then you're going to get the value out of it. And at least now the complexity is simple when you learn the ability first, and then there's some offloaded complexity when you go to the perks menu and you start thinking about, oh, could I use this multiple times? Like, why is that good? How would I do that? And what would it be good for?
Nuts. Winning, by the way. Very minutes early, Bori. Someone's anxious to impress the boss. She says H-5. I don't know what this means. It means 5 hours out. Did you think it was minutes? You're early also. That's not... I just had some packing to do. You'll pack things from this hangar? Yes. I was low on spanners. Okay. Right, the clowns are in the roost. Jen, if we get caught by Boreas fire, anything we can do? Magical fire can burn on anything, but if it's not a fuel source, it takes focus to keep it going. The minor stockpiles on Rushwater seem to burn fine without him. Then I guess that's a fuel source, but people are just sacks of blood. It's hard to keep a fire going on that. If he goes down, we stop burning. Best guess. Or I could just raise you. Oh right, we also have a necromancer. Necromantic. What about this traffic guy? He just summons ghost cars. It's honestly not much of a problem. Bring it on, Kellen! Shit. Really good hearing though. I forgot about that. Nice. Wait. Gas mask. Immune to sedative. Unsteady. Okay. Until they lose that much health. Right. Bring it on. And fucking neutralizer. Okay. Throw marked fire. 1 health every time they do anything while on fire. Ouch. Okay. Knock the traffic warlock into a death's door. Probably not hard to do. I want sand over here. There's a turret I can steal. So if I breach, he's just going to point his thing at me. Yep. Surely Banks is closest. If I go here. Hey, look at me. Yep, nice. Okay. So, there's a big dude coming from over there. They're just not going to tell me what's coming from over there. Alright. Moving to this tile will result in taking damage. Lost that idiot. Less lethal Paramancer. Large fire projectiles can arc over cover, make them all but impossible to avoid. They do no damage, but once on fire, everything you do hurts. Yeah. Hmm. Wait, he has 2 armor? Really? Okay. Doesn't take knockback though. Do I have another prophet? I mean, I will have another prophet. Ow. Nah. This is a terrible spot. Can I go here then? And still do my thing? No, I cannot. Crap. No. Does he know? He does not know. Okay. Yeah. I definitely want to get this turret at the very least, because this door has cooldown on it regardless. So I can do one of these, and then I could do an intel, and then I can. Fuck. Why is the false prophet so silly? It is just going to go straight into the fire, really. Fine, I'll just eat it. Alrighty, get me out here. And then... Oh, wait, the neutralizer is targeting the turret. Idiot. Bars deal 2, alright. So I got drugged. The oh, I'm being fuck. Goodbye. Okay. And see ya. Oh, come on! Nice. Wait, right. I can just go grenade. Ow. Dot dot dot. Not gonna hit cash from that angle. Okay. No, he's stable. Dang. Stable. I just send it back. I don't want it. Send it back. They're on fire. Crap. Okay, so can't just send it back to him. This is a moment. Okay. Let's do this way. Door, turret. So I get blasted. Into the room. Wait, I need Jen to go here. Intel. Here. Oh no, I don't want Banks to get to get flamed. Banks gets flamed and I can't res. Right. Get drugged. Get sent. Wait, there's a window right here. Hey yo. How you doing? So I get drugged. And then if I hit you with he's gonna go out the window, isn't he? Yeah. He's gonna go out that window, which means I won't get the death door on him. We can do that. So yeah, we can get portaled. Boom, boom, boom. Stupid fire tiles. I just got an idea. There is barrel. Oh, no mana. This is before I chain bottled? Okay, cool. Cool. And then we do Intel grab. Gale grenades of movement. Please, just go around. You have the movement. How much movement do you have? 1, 2... Why do you have to put yourself through the fire? Fine. Frick, I can't see him from there. Okay, yeah, boop, bop. Boop? No. I'll just go hug one of these explosives then. Freak. I am really trying to finesse this for no apparent reason, other than because I can. Do damage, and then this... It goes here? No, it's not going to go past the corner, because the corner is in the way. If the turret takes damage... Okay, yeah, the turret... I can't... Oh. That works. Okay, well, we will take that then. Transference the turret, and then blast that. Send. Oh, you're not gonna go through the right portal. Ah. Well, actually, technically, we're sending that to him. So there we go. No. No effect. Heat. Did they not consider that you can transference the turret and you can take damage from exploding barrels? Go really well. Dude, shoot this. If I kill one of these false prophets, will I get my mana back? Because technically if they die, I get mana back. interacts with anything. Which foresee. Oh no, that's a different perk. Different perk. Right. In that case, don't waste that shot. Wait, if you're gonna take damage from being sent through the portal, can I send that damage to you? Oh, what happened there? Okay, right. Oh, the entire hit got sent. Okay. And so he just got knocked into a weird direction. Nope, never mind then. Yeah, I'm over finagling this. Trying to find a solution. Oh, wait. Send that, maybe? Do they have to actually have the health to be able to take the damage to send to the guy? Is that what I'm reading here? Boop. Bop. Beep. No, there it goes. Nice. Big damage. Still about to get shit on. Knock the traffic wall up into the thing. Let us time boost over here. Circuit dragged. Because your gas mask is no longer active. And then okay, yeah. Use resurrect on an ally, so I just need to not die now. Can I guess he's immune to his own fire. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Ow. Don't have another prophet to distract him with. You know what? Maybe I'll save the time boost. I'll take the false prophet so that he wastes his shot, and then I'll just randomly set up a predictive shot just to fulfill that clause, and then nice. And here comes a heavy. Great. The joys of heavy dudes. And I used my transference. Oh. Okay, that'll hit double. Nice. Get them both ways. Achievement get. Oh, this is all on fire now because he threw a bomb there. Indeed. Hmm. Double drugs. Like the heavy looking at me like this. Wait, are you about to take damage? Trailing midfire. Knocked out. Oh, midfire and its effects are extinguished. Sedated, unsteady. What are you taking 4 damage from? What? Oh, the turret. Right. Okay. Send you that way. Oh no, but then the turret won't be able to see him. I want to send him to this barrel so I can blow him up. I don't have another predictive. Okay. Yeah, turret doesn't see him anymore. Fixed. Nice. only sat there for half hour. Drag them. Mission complete. Defeat Bori Kesh, the less lethal pyromancer. Complete. Defeat Steve Clark, traffic warlock again. Complete. Secure them. Yep. We're going to tie. Wait, no, there's got him already apparently. You should have killed them. What? No. Who's writing this? Work time. Big head. Dizzy. Oh. Objective is an enemy, or the victim is an ally. Your use is refunded when the transfer happens. Grant. Okay. The victim is an enemy that gain 1 unsteady when the link is created. Big damage. Dizzy. +1 use. Do you like my extra uses? Just the sheer amount of knockback from this is kind of spooky. Ingenious Grant. This is interesting though. Dizzying skull. Meh. I really want to try the Genius Grant, but I'm trying to think of situations where I could do it. One damage over time. Or big damage Spectral Skull. You know what? We'll just amp the damage here. What did I miss here? I missed the heavies room. Single team may do 3 things. But bank calls knockback extra. Okay. External knockback. Okay. So, I need to check more drugs. Did that count as knockback? No, it didn't count as extra. Take that transfers back, and I'm gonna send it to you. Six extra knockback. Okay, I've done that, done that. Hopefully he comes this way. Got him. Big brain moment. Damn it, it doesn't get his users back. Useless res. Dang. Can I hit myself with this? I can't, but that hits pretty hard. What the heck? Ooh. Done. Got it. Beam time. 10 men. Finish in one turn. Bang. 3 enemies with a single skull. Wait, where's Banks? Oh, she's up here. Okay. directly onto. Okay, no. Plus one target. I mean, we could try it. Let's see. Dang. Big. Big, large, mac huge. Even. Another door I'm missing? What's going on? Oh, I'm standing in front of it. Got it. Nice. Double desser. Okay. Boop. what the? I'm trying to move. Oh, I've already moved. Nope. Question mark. You could kill yourself now. Got him. Turret parallel. Parallel. Okay. Turret parallel. Oh, Overwatch guy. Okay. I mean, he could be fixed with the thingy. Oh, that came out quicker than his shot. Wow, nice. You should off yourself now. Turret is friend. Cannot check a time boost. Too far away. There's no window. There's a dude coming through here. There is. And I've used my predicted boat. Derp. No outdoor windows, is there? No. It's entirely indoor room. Wait. Oh, you're gonna shoot first. Right. Oh, what happened to my... Oh. Transference is on the wrong guy. Because I just killed that guy. There. Unless... Oh no, because there's something there, I can't put it there, it seems. Okay, no worries. Yeah. Doing that one then. Bob. And... Boom, bang. Pow, kill yourself. Yep. And there's another heavy. Of course there is. There's always another heavy. I don't think I could send him that far. Turret can still hit that, that's fine. Go grenade? Right. Well, that tops my fruit. I can't stick this here. It's done now, so that's fine. Field. And just shoot this idiot. And we good. Nice. Nice, nice. Very nice indeed. Everything starred. Oh, hey, there is a tech player here.
So, John, do you want to talk a bit about the look of Jen and Zan and how that came about?
Yeah, the Ozan in particular is kind of the poster boy for the joke, right?
Yeah.
The
like
joke.
from the very early stages, you were sending me pictures of. I think he actually got kind of internet famous as Tactical Beard. Like there's this kind of iconic photo that came out of the latest Iraqi Afghanistan stuff of some kind of special forces guy who'd been left to go feral in the desert, and yeah, he had like the whole tactical gear, the glasses, the backwards ball cap, and this big actual wizard beard. And so yeah, I think that's what we were trying to capture with the joke. So there was so yeah, that kind of aspect was always there from the start.
Yeah, that wasn't even on my radar as like a comparison point or like a similarity when this idea initially, you know, tickled me. And so it's a total gift that actually, you know, real tier 1 operators often do have huge bushy beards and kind of look like wizards anyway.
Yeah, I mean, just I think I did the most like sketches and thumbnails and stuff as for Zan, for the Seer, as we tried to find exactly our balance between stuff. Like breaking down like wizard shapes and tactical shapes and seeing what was unique to each one and what was crossover, like cool hats and pouches and then yeah, beards obviously, and working it up into a finalish design like his. Yeah,
We had a kind of taxonomy, didn't we, of whiz, tac, and cool. Or whiz, tac, cool, lol were the 4 pillars of like the characters.
yes. Yeah, yeah, you can kind of put them on a sliding scale, and when you've done a concept, you can say, this actually needs a bit more tack, this needs a bit more whiz, or like this is
Nice.
entirely too self-serious, there needs to be something a little bit silly here to match the tone
Yeah.
of the game.
Yeah, I don't remember specifically what it was, but I remember at least once in this project you came up with a design that like fused wizard and tactical elements so seamlessly that I had to say, could you make it a bit more like awkward? Because it's not funny. If they merge so perfectly, you don't necessarily read it as a clash between two things. You might read it as one, you might read it as the other, or you might read it as just its own thing. But yeah, that was the lol part. Is it kind of, you need to see that these two things are silly together.
Yeah, and then when I draw, like, a Navy Seer with a friendly octopus perched on his shoulder, it's like, no, too much lol.
Too much lol.
Dial it back.
Lol.
And then which came out of the kind of separate, I mean, a similar space, just trying to, match witchy and tactical shapes. And yeah, this is my greatest crime for the longest time, was not putting a hat on the witch. Like, I've got so many stupid, idiotic concepts, and none of them. It's like, something's missing. Like, it doesn't read as witch. I can't imagine why that is. And then, like, as soon as you put a hat on, it's like, oh, okay, fine. I'll stop fighting against this.
Yeah, that's pretty core to the look for sure.
Yeah, I just kind of blanked on it. And it's like, as soon as you can have any character design, if you put a big black hat on it, it's a witch suddenly.
I remember you also had a bit of a stroke of accidental genius with the goggles, because you put goggles on her hat at one point, and I remember telling you like, oh, I mean, just realised she's got those because she flies, so she's like an Air Force kind of thing, and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I meant this all along. But yeah, it was a cool little bit of back and forth, which is where you get all the kind of best character development from, to be honest.
Yeah. And actually that sort of circles back to her WizTac look, right? That seems like a sort of skydiving kind of outfit.
Yeah, well, as soon as you said, oh, obviously she's there for flying, then suddenly she had like this, in my head at least, this history as like a kind of, at some point in the script you mentioned she did a tour with Zan.
Yeah.
It's like, well, obviously they met up where she was like a recon pilot or something, and then suddenly it's like, oh, we can start layering like Air Force stuff in, and yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things I enjoy most about our collaboration is I'll throw out sort of a general concept, and then loads of these little specific details come back in your work that I didn't have to think of or ask for.
But yeah, then you write stuff in the script, and it's like, oh, I can add these little details on, and yeah, I've been stuck a few times just banging my head against the wall, trying to think up cool design things, and the solution to that every single time has just been to talk with you.
So, about 3 years into the project, it felt like it was probably time for it to have some music, so I started looking for a composer.
Damn, that's a long time.
And I found you, Rob. It was a sort of open call for composers, and they asked people to submit samples, and you know, from their previous work, and then from the best of those, I then commissioned a specific sample for Wizards itself. And I remember what stood out about your music was I loved the percussion and just like the richness of it, and it had that kind of military action vibe. So once you were on board the project, what was your approach to making music for it?
The approach was just to try to continue where the samples kind of left off. And when I came on, I was really focused on trailer music, because at that time I was an in-house composer for the Trailer House Monster Creative. And so I brought that percussion side, but I also tried bringing my orchestral background in there too. And I get a lot of motivation from the military games the military game scores that are like really popular, whether it's Lorne Balfe's Modern Warfare 2 from back in the day, and others in the Modern Warfare side, and some of the Battlefield games too. They really speak to me. And even though Tactical Breach Wizards has a good chunk of humor, I did notice that when you're playing the game itself, it needs some of that feel into it, and that was pretty much my approach.
Yeah, that's my thing too, that although we want the game to be funny and there is humor in it, I always find that you don't want the kind of the aesthetic and the audio of the game to be telling you it's funny. Like, it should be funny naturally. It should be kind of deadpan humor, basically. So it was important to me that the music is not like comedic music. It's the music is telling you it's serious, and then if funny things happen, to me that's even funnier if it's like in a sort of serious context.
Oh yeah, when it bounces off like that, it works really well. Whenever I would play the game just to test out how the music would sound, when I get to like discussions and see the humor and all that, I'm thinking, that's good. And it would just stick out from the seriousness. I really liked it. And when I saw videos of people playing like the demo and whatnot, I've really struck those players as well, I've noticed. So I really like the balance.
What is your orchestral background?
My orchestral background, I'm a French horn player, and I've conducted and stuff like that, and I've been playing French horn since high school, which is like a very long time ago.
Wow.
So, yeah, went to college for it, got some master degrees in it, and was able to go into film composing somehow. I'll take it.
Is there? I'm so musically illiterate. Is there French horn in our music?
Oh, there's tons.
Okay.
Tons.
I wouldn't know an instrument if it bit me.
Oh no. When your notes have actually been pretty
Wait.
good on that. A lot of
Oh,
times
thanks.
when you've said almost,
Did I
almost every
just
time, every
find
instrument you borrow,
tech?
I'm like, oh yep, that's it. There it is. And I change it.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm always apologizing to Rob when I give feedback. 'Cause I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know the term for this, but there's a kind of thing at like 1 minute 32. I don't know what that is, but could we like lessen that?
Oh no, you were good. You did really good with the notes. I like them a lot.
Do you want to talk about the main theme? I think this is one of my favorite tracks for the game, and it does a really good balance of like has that military action excitement, but also it has a tune to it. Like I find myself humming it.
Mm-hmm. The background for that, I was just trying to. I threw a lot of different themes into my DAW when I was working my digital audio workstation. I just kept throwing it in there, throwing different things. Nothing was working, and then I think I hummed it. And I just thought, oh, let's try that. And I tried it in various ways and thought, okay, that works. And I just went with it, and
That works.
I just kept writing with it, and I'm just glad it worked right from the gate with the
Yeah,
first track.
It's one of those. I think what's cool about that melody, that just as you're humming it, I realized like, oh yeah, because it works in two different contexts. I think you can have that be a very like mournful and quiet version of it, and then if you have it when all the percussion comes in at the same time, it's got this real badass feel to it as well.
Yeah, I've noticed that like really good themes can be used in multiple aspects, whether it's something happy or epic or heroic or sad, angry and whatnot. So if something works and all that, then it's probably a good one to use. And I'm glad I stumbled on it because I was wondering what the heck was going to work.
So I'm just replaying levels to listen to the developer commentary. Yeah, alright.
So this mission has been introducing you to confidence goals, and I think this level is the first tricky one. So Jen's goal to clear all the enemies by the end of turn 1 probably looks impossible to a lot of players when they first see it, but that's kind of its virtue. That's what it's there for, is to make you realize that there's a bunch of stuff you've been missing so far, if you have been missing it. Because it is possible, and it's possible with just the few tools we've already given you. But you need to slightly change your thinking and start, really using that rewind feature and digging into precise positioning, especially using time boost, and figuring out how to combine these abilities. We found it's a really good litmus test for your thinking with the game, because for a lot of people this is when the game clicks, going for that goal, not this level played normally, but if they try for that goal and they get it, that is really a big aha moment for them. Confidence goals in general, the idea of them is mostly to add what I call a success spectrum to the game, which is having a gradation of different outcomes from the best possible success to the worst possible failure. Generally, the more kind of rich you can make that spectrum, the more different points on that spectrum you can have that players care about, the better time they're going to have, because they're going to spend more time at their desired level of challenge without having to go into the settings and change the difficulty options. So we could have had just vanilla optional objectives, lots of games do this, but I also had this idea of confidence being how you unlock outfits. The idea in Tactical Breach Wizards is you already own all of the unlockable outfits, you just don't have the confidence to wear them, so you've got to go and build confidence. And optional extra objectives are obviously a very logical way to give you confidence. It's also very intentional that when we give you something extra to aim for, something that's extra difficult to achieve, the reward for that should never be a gameplay advantage, because if you do that, you get a snowballing problem, because the players who are the best at the game get a gameplay advantage they don't need, and the game gets easier for them. The players who are struggling with the game don't get the gameplay advantage and continue to struggle, or struggle even worse. That's just generally a bad pattern. So I like to, if we're challenging you to do something hard, the reward should be something cosmetic. And if they're going to earn confidence for a particular wizard, then I want the goals themselves to relate to that wizard's style. You know, Jen is a very mobile character, she's very fast, and so completing things in 1 turn or 2 turns suits her character. Zan's are going to be more kind of professional. He likes to prevent reinforcements, he likes his team to all be well, he is a supportive character, and he wants everyone else to be okay. And I liked the idea that having goals that relate to characters could then add an extra dimension of decision making in terms of which ones you go for. Maybe you go for the one that relates to the character whose outfit you want to unlock next, or you go for that character's goals because you like that character more, you care about them more. And so I even considered and experimented a little bit with having these goals conflict with each other. You know, somebody wants to take damage, somebody else wants them not to take damage. What we found is people hate that. It's not too surprising, really. You know, gamers' instincts are geared towards solving the problem you give them. If you give them 2 different goals that just conflict with each other, it doesn't feel like a cool and interesting choice. It just feels like, oh, I'm just fucked. I guess I just got to play the level twice. So that was not a promising direction, but I still really like that the confidence goals relate to characters. Okay, so this level has a kind of high concept, and it's based on a level that I found on the Steam Workshop. And I was surprised to find that level on the Steam Workshop, because we shipped the level editor and the workshop support with an early beta. And this level with a really cool idea behind it was by a guy called John Roberts, who happened to be our artist.
Yeah, I still can't believe you gave me a level design credit for my one single idea.
2, I would say, because the Traffic Warlock level is also inspired by one of your.
That's fair.
I think.
Yeah.
Did you only do 2?
Yeah, I only made 2. Like
And
I
both of them
I
ended
had-
up in the game.
Well, this is my extent of my level design ideas. There's been 2 in 6 years, which is why I'm only the artist.
So this one, 2 corridors, has a kind of high concept to it. Do you want to explain what that is?
Yes, Dan and Jen are separated and work their way down their own corridor, but the idea is that you're supposed to be helping the other person more than solving problems yourself. And it was mostly inspired by a few like Portal 2 co-op levels, where one of you is like dropping the other one through portals and stuff, and the other one's just kind of a passenger. And then I thought of the name Bounding Overwatch, which is kind of tactical maneuver that actual soldiers do, and it just seemed to kind of match up and make sense. And my original version was very kind of puzzly. It you had to do the exact right move at the exact right time, or it wouldn't work, and then you kind of took it and fleshed it out into an actual proper level that allowed a bit of expression.
Yeah, the main thing I added was once you get through the 2 corridors, there's then a more like open-ended area at the end where you reunite and get to fight through that together. That's pretty trivial addition. The actual like individual stages of this where you help each other, I think a lot of the basics of that is the same as your original level. They did have to be tweaked a few times. There was some for a long time the Overwatch guy was aiming at the door that Jen goes through, so as soon as she opens it she dies, and that is an animation nightmare because she kind of has to finish her breaching animation and then die
Yes.
afterwards, and
Yeah.
it's just kind of confusing as well.
How much did you sweat at all over the introductory dialogue to the level? Like, how do you
Sorry, nothing too
justify
hard.
Jen just leaving and going somewhere else?
Yeah, that definitely went through some iterations, and the just the general concept. It's a little bit tricky. The whole concept sort of depends on them starting separated. We can't really expect the player to think of separating them after them starting at the same place. So we have to start them separated, but that means we can't introduce this concept all that gently. The players are kind of thrown in the deep end, just expected to realize this straight away. And with earlier versions, we did have that problem where people didn't get the idea of one person helping the other, the fact that they could shoot across the corridors. It's early enough in the game that people still might be thinking that weapons have like limited range and stuff like that. And I saw my friend Carla just moved both of them to one corridor at the start. And usually when you're watching a playtest, it's not good to like jump in and tell people what to do. But I did just pipe up and say, just so you know, like you might struggle with this with that strategy. It's not really like that. And she's like, no, it's fine. I'm gonna carry on with it. And she did it. She got through the level.
Oh, fair enough. But if you do that, you're playing it wrong.
Yeah, you're sort of missing out on something, but at the same time, I think it's sort of generally true that as long as the player knows they're making a big swing, like I've decided to do this, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but I've decided to do it, then I think all of the fun they do have with that is doubled by the fact that they know that they sort of invented this solution and it's entirely theirs. So I'm happy for people to miss out on some intended fun, to have some unintended fun.
And this is why I'm a bad level designer, is that you must play it my way. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing we sort of struggled with a bit in general with Wizards. It's like, how open-ended should it be? How puzzly should it be? You need puzzles to teach people mechanics, and if you don't have any puzzles, it can just feel a bit blah, just like, well, whatever, whatever you try will work. But the way the sort of pattern we settled on in general is that my feeling was that the first turn or two can be a puzzle. Generally, just the first turn. You can set something up as a level designer of like, this will work and this won't work, and you've got to think about this. And after the first turn, we just have no idea where any of your people are, so you can't really design any puzzles for that. So it's really like, first turn is puzzle, the rest of it is freeform.
Oh, he's gonna go there. How did I do this one before? Because now I'm having skill issues. I think I must have waited a bunch of turns just to make sure I had my movement and stuff so I could reposition. I've started to adopt a bit of a rush and just spam everything kind of playstyle, which is probably not ideal. These guys will wait, so yeah, there we go. crossbow. Wait, did I? Where's all my gale grenades? Well, whatever. Okay, right, yes. This, and this is what I do. Eat.
Okay, so this level has like
Already listened. I've already listened. Okay, Alright, yep. Movement has been eaten. Just gonna go here. Go here. Another turn. Oh. That's a poor spot to put myself. Because I can't shoot across. Hmm. Hmm. Yeet. Yeet. I want to do a funny. I still get it if I do this. Yep. Yeet. No, knockback direction is still a bit off. Dang. Oh, well. Boring way it is. Boring way it is. Those clones are so good. Even though you don't typically have that skill at this level. But I have it, so I'll use it since I'm just casually replaying, so to watch the dev commentary. Let's do this one. Hey player? Yeah, there is. No.
So yeah, this is Steve Clark, the Traffic Warlock. I think Traffic Warlock was one of the earliest names we came up with, and I don't think it was ever one of your team. I think it was always going to be an enemy. The concept for the game was the idea of a rival team was very early. It was pretty much always that. That was just if you're going to have these characterful concepts, it's so fun to come up with these ideas and to make them unique and distinct. Then a rival team's great because you get twice as many of them. And also, if you have any ideas that don't work out for the main team, you can just put them on the enemy team as a kind of fallback. But yeah, so Traffic Warlock,
Nice.
the name was given to you, John, and then how did you take it from there?
Traffic Warlock is one of my favourite characters, mostly because he happened at around 7 PM on like a hot summer's evening when I think we were working together, and then said, "Oh, it's maybe time for a pint," and then like an hour later the Traffic Warlock happened. Yeah, there's such a rich vein of stupid ideas to draw from. I really love all my initial sketches where we just pick and choose exactly what dumb elements we wanted, from like wizard on a Segway or demonic. Like Japanese traffic cops had those two kind of long sticks with lights on. They look like intense ravers at the cross section of traffic, and then we worked out the design a bit more, made him look fairly goofy with his all over road, and then you told me to work on his spell effects, and you left me a lot of leeway on that.
Yeah, so that's
He doesn't
his
actually get
spell
knocked
is
down.
called. I suppose this is in the game. If you mouse over him, I think it tells you the name of his ability. It's called Crush Hour, which I was quite happy with. And yeah, damage-wise, it's a super simple ability. It's just going to create a zone of damage. And yeah, that gave you the leeway to do what it is you did with that.
You said, I don't know, it should be something like he throws, or a car drives at you. Yes, I have got you. And then, like 3 days later, I realised that I'd gone way overboard, but everyone seemed kind of happy with it.
That's
Oh,
it. I
nice.
forgot that. Yeah, in my small,
Those are some
simple mind, I
cool
imagined him
designs.
just firing a ghost car at you, and that's like it's quite a funny idea that someone just throws a car at you, and it's a ghost car because it's magic. But then, yeah, your final thing is so much more than I could have hoped for with the skeletons. Is there a motorbike in there somewhere?
Yeah, there is a little motorbike in there. My first motorbike ever. It's very dear to me.
And am I remembering right that one early design of the Traffic Warlock, he actually had a traffic cone on his head?
Yes, he did. I think we actually passed over that as being slightly too silly. It's a really natural kind of make it a wizard hat, but make it kind of modern and trafficky. And there's not a lot of art online, kind of playing in the same space that we play in. But the kind of few pieces
I'm
there
trying to
are
read.
have kind of gravitated towards that traffic cone hat. So it felt a bit unoriginal to go in that direction as well.
Right.
So he's got his kind of full peaked rain cover instead.
Yeah, it's a bit too much lol, and I think, especially now that I know the character well, the problem with it for me would be that it doesn't seem like he's taking himself seriously. Like, it's important that none of us take him seriously, but it's important that he is super serious about this. And so going by his look, it's kind of like dark and brooding. He really sees himself as a warlock.
Just shunt him around. Maybe not ideal at that spot then. Damn. Although, oh, wait, this works just as well. Yeet. On this level. Alright, just hit that instant win button then.
Alright, so most of what you play so far, Act 1, I was doing the level design myself, and then as we started Act 2, I realized the sheer amount of work ahead of me was getting kind of daunting, and I had a lot of other jobs. So I looked for a level designer and immediately thought of Steve Lee. Hi, Steve.
Hey, how's it going?
Can you introduce yourself, tell us a bit about what you've done in the past?
Yeah, so I think how we met was we met at GDC, and after I'd worked on Dishonored 2 as a senior level designer, I'd been in AAA for like about, well, by that point, about 7 years. I think I worked on other AAA shooter stuff like Bulletstorm and Bioshock Infinite. But after Dishonored 2, I went indie and I started freelancing and stuff, and working with smaller teams like you. But yeah, it's kind of mostly really into the first-person shooter and an immersive sim thing, which I think has a lot of overlap. You know, I think with you being interested in the immersive sim thing too, there's a lot of, it really shows in Tactical Breach in terms of the systemic gameplay and stuff. So I think that was a key part of what made us feel like
I
a
could
good
probably
fit.
rush this down.
Yeah, I feel like a shared interest in immersive sims was definitely a common point of interest, and yeah, that gave me a good idea that you'd be a good fit for this. You'd also worked on John Wick Hex, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Which is
in
sort of
indie
a
tactics
similar
game.
genre.
Yeah, exactly. That was, I think, a couple of years before. So I was kind of like, the idea of working on another tactics game, but kind of more systemic, I suppose, and more kind of a bit richer and more complex in terms of its gameplay systems was really appealing. And I'd already seen videos and stuff you'd done of Breach Wizards, and it looked super up my street. And I was a big fan of Gunpoint as well. That should be said as well. So yeah, I was really excited to jump on, and the timing and everything was perfect. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it's great when you can when you know the right person for the job and they're available, and you just go straight to it. So what was it like when you started? I don't remember like our early conversations whether I gave you like a direction for the game. I guess a lot of the game, the first act already existed, so you had some reference points there. But what was it like for you when you started designing levels for this game?
I remember the main thing was being super kind of relieved and just kind of happy that it was that all the levels are made with an editor that you built into the game and that you'd already finished, basically. I mean, even thinking back now, that's really impressive that you had the editor so finished early on. 'Cause usually that would be something that you're still kind of building right up until the end,
Yeah, that was a lesson we learned with Gunpoint, because for ages, for all of Gunpoint's development, I was making the levels in Game Maker, which is what we made the game in, and it was a little bit awkward to do that. But level editor was like on our list of things we might want to do, but it wasn't essential, so it was always bottom of the priority list. And then we did get to it, and we made it. And after I made it, I was like, damn, this is way better than using Game Maker. Why the hell did I make this first and then make all the levels in this? So I learned that lesson. And yeah, if there's going to be a level editor, and there probably should be, make it first, and then you get to use it the whole time.
Yeah, and if you bring on a contract level designer, it's just a joy for them, because then it's like you can just make stuff straight away. There's no very little learning curve in terms of like getting to know the way you've used Unity or anything like that. I just jump into the game and make levels, and I think I kind of sent you a couple of levels within the first week or so, because it was they're really small, tight, compact levels, really focused and stuff. So it was really kind of the quickest I've ever got into actually just making levels straight away. It was really satisfying. Like,
how long does a Dishonored 2 level take?
Oh god, I mean, the Dust District, which I worked on, I mean, I think most of us, frankly, were on the same level for most of 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
Not because necessarily you need that, like DLC maps were made way quicker because everything was in place and stuff, but because the tools were being made and the engine was kind of really being built up almost from scratch. It was literally like most of us who were there early on were on the same kind of our level for most of the time we were there. With a bit of switching around to help each other out, but yeah, that's how much like the tech of stuff can make a huge difference in terms of just having it ready versus starting to build it from scratch and trying to make levels with unfinished tech and stuff. It's very different.
It sounds like pain.
Not a fair comparison, of course, because those levels are these huge, like sandbox things. Especially Dust District, you can spend hours and hours going around that, every which way. And ours are tiny little rooms, but still.
Next. Mainframe. Nothing on this level. Alright. Time to just blitz it. What's Prophet OP with that upgrade? Oh, that's the Prophet. Dead. Turret is mine. Did I miss anything? Oh, it specifically wants me to do the thing. To do the thing that the tutorial portion of the map wants me to do. Okay. Pain. Players shouldn't be forced to do the objective portions if they're just tutorialization. Guess this is gonna be something about the heavies.
One of the challenges we had when we tried to design new enemies for this game is that the whole nature of being able to see what the enemy will do and rewind any mistakes you make means that most of the time you have the power to just avoid getting hit at all. And that works. I think it's fun as a type of gameplay, but it means that we can't vary enemies by what they do to you, which is a pretty major axis for like enemy variety. You know, in other games, like enemies being able to sort of slow you down with their hits, or you know, apply some status effect, give you poison, things like that. All of that stuff, we can't really do that because we kind of have to give you a way to avoid the enemies. So heavies that are introduced in this level are kind of our concession to that. They're the kind of the start of ways of thinking around this. So the way heavies work is they're going to do a 4 damage attack to you. They're just like a tracker, except they're going to do a huge amount of damage. So it's life or death whether you get hit or not. So that's a little bit different. But then even if you hide in cover, they have what's called saturating fire, which means some of their fire is still going to hit you. You're going to get grazed for 1 damage. And the 1 damage is not that big a deal. Like, you can absolutely survive that. But obviously you don't want to take that damage. So now there's a difference between hiding in cover and actually like physically going around a wall or taking out the enemy this turn. And it's just a little bit of a nudge to force you to care about what the enemy can do. Obviously, it's a pretty heavy-handed approach. Excuse me. So we didn't go any further with this with other enemies. You know, we weren't going to have a whole set of enemies that do different things to you when you're in cover. We didn't want cover to feel like it's a sort of false promise. But yeah, as we designed other enemies, we dug further into the idea of like, how do we make sure that what they do actually matters, even in a game that's largely about avoiding getting hit at all?
God, Rachel, he's already standing there. Got it. Alright. You're still not just around the corner. Dang it. Actually, maybe I could take that profit back then. Boop bop. Bomb myself. No. Alright. We take those. Yeet.
This level is called The Cell, and it's probably one of the hardest levels in the game to get right for us as designers. We had a version of this that was pretty annoying to players. It was getting some pretty significant negative reports, and that's due to its unique nature. So it is what we're trying to do, and you should never do this. Don't do this. I regret doing this every time I do it. We're trying to merge a story moment and a gameplay moment. So the story context here is Zan is sick, he is dying, but as it happens, you're on your way to rescue somebody who can raise the dead. You don't know that yet. But a doctor, you know they're a doctor. And so you're going to rescue them, and then they can heal Zan. So your mission has suddenly become a lot more urgent, and also Zan is increasingly out of action. So he is poisoned, he's limited in what he can do. There's a bunch of problems with that. There's a lot of just like user comprehension problems about Zan's condition, because your team don't truly know what's happening. You sort of deduce something, Zan is ill in some way. It's built up, it's meant to be built up a lot over the course of this mission, but people really, understandably, don't sort of memorize what was going on in the breach conversations. If something's a little bit off there, they don't necessarily store that information and expect it to pay off later. So for a long time we had a lot of problems with people just not knowing there was anything different about Zan, and then when he behaved differently, it's like, well, why isn't Zan working normally? To some extent, you're meant to be a little bit confused about what's going on.
Skill issues.
So you don't know.
Respectfully.
But the idea
to everyone who sucks at reading.
have a level where
skill issues.
It feels a bit desperate and it's urgent, and Jen has to kind of rise to the occasion and shine. So you're used to having these two people cooperate. Now you're going to have Jen kind of take center stage, do most of the work, and Zan's just going to hang back and play a supporting role. The reason that's difficult design-wise, I mean, first of all, anytime you go in with an idea of how the player should play it, you're going to be stymied by players just having different instincts and just thinking of different things. But really the problem is that this level is about locomotion. It's about getting somewhere. It's about getting Jen across to the other side of the room, getting Jen to the controls for the turrets, getting Jen to turn off the turrets, getting Jen to seal doors. And that is an area where our game has a very high sort of skill ceiling. Debatable whether you call it skill in a tactics game. It's sort of more like,
comprehension.
But if you really know what you're doing, if you really understand how all the mechanics work, there are so many ways to juice a little bit of extra movement to get it a little bit further and cross that critical threshold to seal doors. I believe we also had to delay a perk that you would normally have access to here. Originally you had access to the infinite refreshing jolt perk for Jen, which means every time she attacks, she can run again. And of course, if she can do that, and if Zan can throw a time boost her way to give her more actions, the range that she can move in one turn becomes enormous. So we actually locked that off till later in the campaign, just so you can't have it for this level in particular, because it's not that we don't want your perks to give you a big advantage, but if you have this perk, the level is trivial, and if you don't have this perk, it feels impossible, then you've got a problem. Then you just got to say, okay, you just can't have that perk at this point. That was already part of the plan, is to drip feed you access to perks as the game goes on. You don't want every perk to be available from level 1, because then there's nothing more to discover about those characters. But yeah, this one's very hard to balance. The answer, the only solution really was just to keep testing it. We went through many iterations and just keep balancing the difficulty of that, and eventually find a version where people feel that desperation but aren't getting frustratingly stuck. Okay, so you just met the Necromedic. I guess you met her back in the DSR, but it hopefully wasn't entirely clear that she would join your team at that point. And that scene you just watched in the bar, where she reveals who she is and the nature of her ability, is something we had planned for a long time. John, do you want to talk about the development of that scene?
Yeah, I think this is one of the. I think you had a few strong ideas for some of the dialogue scenes in the game, and this was the first one that we tested out. It was the first time we really thought about cinematics and framing and how to use the camera to reveal information, which was like a massive departure for both of us, to be honest.
Yeah. I wrote it just sort of on the assumption that there was some way we could gradually reveal the information. That I wanted you to start getting this person's backstory without knowing the context. Because the last thing you saw was her shooting Zan. I expect that you probably have it half in your head that Zan isn't truly dead, and that there's probably something coming. There's another shoe to drop. Although I have heard from some people that they, by this point in the game, they were sufficiently like on board and surprised by enough things that they were like, maybe they do just kill Zan now. So that's fun. But yeah, I wanted like an air of confusion, but for her to be telling this story that fills her in on you, and then but stage by stage you get more and more reassurance about it, that she is someone, that she is on your side, that she's that this is a friendly context. So, because at first it might seem like a flashback as well. That's another thing I considered, is maybe we're getting a flashback and the backstory of how the Necromantic came to kill Zan. So yeah, I wanted to first reveal that she's talking to Jen, so there's a friendly context, and it's now, not earlier. And then later reveal that Zan is still alive, and do that sort of quite gently. And I think it was obviously the actual framing of it, the fact that they're all at a bar facing away from us, was your idea, right? And then you made life extremely hard for yourself by adding a mirror.
Yeah, that's my own dumb fault. Like I started learning 3D in like the era of like early Half-Life and Quake era, and there was always this trick where you make something reflective, not by actually making it reflective or using camera rendering or anything like that. You just full on copy the level and like invert it, either like under a shiny floor or behind a mirror, so there's just two copies of everything, and it's felt like just a fun way to use that trick.
So we are actually doing that. There's a whole other bar in there, is there? And so you have to sync like every animation.
Yeah, that wasn't too tricky at the end. The harder part was framing each reveal without you accidentally noticing one of the other wizards in the mirror before they were revealed in the scene.
Yeah, because I imagine that kind of doubles the amount of problematic sight lines.
Yes, it was a terrible idea, and it looks the way it does out of stubbornness mostly, and quite a few people have said they look a little bit odd being spaced so far out, so if you felt that as well, don't worry. You're not alone.
Well, I really like it because I think sitting at the bar nursing a drink is the perfect framing for this kind of monologue. This is a very like noir styled monologue. And nursing a sorrows, especially, it's pretty much impossible to frame one person talking without revealing who they're talking to, and not doing an extreme close-up, because our rendering style wouldn't suit that.
I had this cutscene in the last stream that I did. It was when I first did that level. So yeah, if you want to know the level that they're talking about, because I only just realized that I had to turn on the developer commentary in the options when I started this stream, then yeah, you can watch that back to see me bumble my way through those levels in their initial incarnations when I didn't have upgrades and such.
There's almost no way to do that without spacing them out pretty far. And also, they just met. They're not friends yet. You can imagine Jen at least keeping her distance from Banks. But yeah, I think it works super well. And we have, on the flip side, we've had so many people say that this is like that one of their favorite moments in the game, and just people going like, "Oh my god!"
Lag. Okay, there we go. Dead medicine. Ah, alright. Level where I have to go boom.
The change of design from Banks's kind of prison outfit to her actual proper outfit is kind of a big switch. Like her hair changes, her glasses appear. I was a little bit worried that people wouldn't immediately draw the line between those two designs as being the same character, but I think it mostly worked.
Right. Yeah, the difference there is useful for us, though. It's nice. I have no idea whether people do or don't equate, Banks as shown in screenshots and trailers, and then they start playing the game and there's this white-haired prisoner. I don't know if people make that connection. My hope is that a lot of people have like story brain like I do, where when I'm watching something, I just go into stupid mode and I stop trying to predict things, and if the work is doing a good job of engaging me, I'm not trying to get ahead of it. But yeah, how did you settle on Banks's eventual look?
I think, well, you say eventual because I think she went through one of the longest development cycles out of all of them. At the very beginning, she was very much like a combat medic inspired looks. I think when we first started talking about like a medic or a necromancer class, we both kind of bonded over old stories of psychotic Battlefield 2 medics, like charging across like bullet-filled battlefields with two paddles out, ready to throw themselves at anyone that appeared. And so that's very obvious in the earlier designs. And some of those kind of combat medic designs got quite far up, like the orthographic stage, just about to be modelled.
Nope. Okay.
And then I think we realised they weren't quite right for the actual character that you wanted. And so after a bit more writing came in, we looked at the design again and ended up a bit close to where we are now.
Yeah, I do remember there was a version with runic defibrillators where she'd have like 2 rune stones and be jolting people with that. The final version I think I prefer, and it suits her character better because she's kind of a gangster. She's a surgeon, and I think it's nice that she you get the sense she feels like a surgeon. She feels like someone who has a skill and talent, and there's less emphasis on like the magic thing she's holding, because if you do that too much, obviously it feels like the magic thing is doing the job and she's just someone who's carrying it.
Yeah, so we found this cool design with the crisp suit and well put together with the tats underneath to kind of suggest that kind of mafia element, and then layered a few more bits and pieces on top. There's a few nods to a character called Johannes Cabal, one of my favourite necromancers in fiction, which you might recognise if you've read those books as well. And also her kind of gun belts and stuff were weirdly influenced by there's like a paragraph in The Dark Tower by Stephen King where he talks about his gunslinger character being like coming into the real world and wearing a crisp suit and then layering up kind of Old West revolvers and straps and bullet chains and stuff over the top of it. And yeah, for some reason that stuck in my head and came out in this design of all places. But yeah, I'm quite happy with where we ended up.
Yeah, it's a really strong look. And her, sometimes it's hard looking back to even remember like how the idea of the character evolved with the art, which came first, and obviously it's a back and forth. But her personality, she was always a little bit like hostile to your group. She's a criminal. She's obviously in direct opposition with Jen because she got arrested due to Jen. And so she was always going to be a little bit kind of frosty towards you. And she's sort of simultaneously the bad one, but also the best one in terms of like her capacity to save lives. Like she's the only one who's actually like bringing people back from the dead and saving lives directly. So her personality kind of is a dichotomy there, where she's sort of like fundamentally she does care about saving lives and she does believe that saving lives is the best thing to do. But at other times she seems like the most ruthless character in the thing because she doesn't have any sort of direct compassion. She isn't like moved to help She does. It's a very calculating thing for her. She's absolutely like number of lives saved minus number of lives cost. And she's especially focused on, because she was an extraordinary surgeon, and now that she's not an extraordinary surgeon and she instead has this other extraordinary talent, she has to be using that. She has to be using it for things that nobody else could solve in order to like feel validated about herself. So, and that's like a urgent need in her, and sort of a self-destructive need. So that'll help explain some of the what her attitude towards Liv and her attitude towards like the decision of what your team should be focusing on. She's often at odds with you on that basis, because she's not moved to help a local situation. She's fixated on this one goal that she thinks only she and your team can achieve.
Oh, cut himself off. Okay. Nothing on this level. Alright. Not gonna finish him. How did I do this one before? Oh yeah, right. Go to the other side now. Close the door. Send you. I can use an ability that I'm not meant to have yet, because I have it now. Kill yourself. Yeah. So I have drugs and seal the door. Nothing on this level either. Huh. Alright. Spook time.
something that occurred to me about Tactical Breach was probably a few years
It's not a stealth game.
was that, oh, this isn't a stealth game. We normally make stealth games, like Gunpoint and Heat Signature are both, to different extents and in different ways, stealth games. Stealth is sort of the main way that you overcome the fact that you are horribly outnumbered and outgunned. And Breach Wizards isn't. You know, there's an element of surprise. You are, before you enter a room, enemies don't know you're coming, so you could call that stealth. But in terms of like game mechanics, no, there's no stealth in it really. This level is the closest you come, or the mechanic introduced here is the closest we come. So these officers are folks who are just going to run to an alarm panel. If they get there, it's mission over. So you're just trying to stop them. So that's, I wouldn't really call it a stealth mechanic. It's more like a stealth feeling for a mechanic. The idea is we cannot let an alarm be sounded, and it is mechanically, I think, quite novel for this game. Of like, for once, someone's not actually trying to hurt you. You're just trying to stop them from accomplishing their objective. And there's a bunch of different challenges there. I like how it interacts with Jen, because Jen, only does damage by knocking people into things or out of things, and that means she wants to be close to people because that gives her flexibility to move around them. And now we have an enemy that is trying to get away from you. So the more you let them do that, the fewer options Jen has to deal with them. She can only push them away from her. And if they're already trying to get away from her, she's just helping them at that point. But yeah, so why didn't we make a stealth game? Why is it not a stealth game? Why didn't I halfway through try to shoehorn stealth in there? Probably from my phrasing, you can get an idea of why we didn't do that.
Yeah.
But really, I think, stealth in a turn-based tactics context is a whole other discipline. It's just a whole other game. And in fact, if you play Invisible Ink, you will see this. I love Invisible Ink. It's one of my favorite games. And but I was never under the impression that it was easy to make. It seemed like it's quite hard to make, and you can tell as you play it. Like, there's so much going on visually there that's all about stealth. Like, they have to do so much work just to communicate people's sight lines. The difference between you'll be fully seen or you'll be partly seen. The difference in alert states on enemies. And then when you are caught, it's tricky to thrash out that logic of can you get away? Is there a way to recover? Recovery in general is one of the biggest challenges in stealth games, and it would just be an entire other game, and so it didn't make sense to try and graft it onto Tactical Breach Wizards. But we do have Alarmists just to kind of give it a stealthy vibe.
I am quite fond of Heat Signature. I might play it again sometime. Thing here? Nope. Okay. You're getting exhausted. Yep, just send it straight back. And whoops, there goes the false prophet. Lol. Oh. I actually can't reach this door. Physically can't reach this door. Nutty. Actually, yes I can. Lol. Well, alright. I've been at this for like 3 hours, so I guess I'll leave it there. And some of the other ones, I might listen to them myself if I could find them. They might be in one of the dream levels or something, maybe. But anyway, with that, oh no, don't move on. Shit, that's gonna start a cutscene, isn't it? Well, alright. Luke's bar. Honestly, it's just a nice bar. So they're heading to Kalan? That's gonna be a problem. Why? There's no legal way in or out. We have no contacts there. And have you seen the news lately? The capital's on lockdown with riots. Laws are suggestions. Chaos is cover. That leaves Liv's team exposed. This will be the first time they're cut off from their military support. It sounds like they at least have a safe house. Foreigners just vanish in Kalan. Shouldn't we head back and let them run that risk? I can't. I'll understand if you don't want to risk it, Jen, but this trail, Liv's team, this war it leads to, it's the only thing I've been sure of in years. I've been in a bad place watching the world burn from a couch paralyzed, seeing every problem I'd caused by trying to be part of the solution. Can't go back to that, knowing I had a chance to act. Alright, I get it. I always liked the idea of throwing caution to the wind to make a difference, but now that we're here, I feel like I'm 96% caution by body weight. Okay. But I can get there. Thanks. I was never out. Oh, okay. What's the plan? Ask me again at breakfast. Brain that night. Whoa, this is new. Hi, I'm here too now. Why am I dreaming about talking to myself? Oh god, am I so obsessed? Well, now you're dreaming about talking to yourself about yourself, so that hasn't helped. Given that we're both criticizing you, though, I think this might be coming from a place of insecurity. Everything we've done since the age of 4 came from a place of insecurity. Want to narrow it down? Not until we clear these rooms. The cops represent my self-censorship or some shit. No, it's just kind of No, it's just kind of uncomfortable having a long personal conversation in a doorway. Oh, you get used to it. Anxiety dream. Get one of your teammates to that room. Okay. Like an interesting room. I guess lots of broom breaching. Okay. But yes, like I said, I feel like I will be done for tonight. So quit the main menu. My team's looking snazzy. Anyway, with that, if you're still watching, thanks for watching. If you want to watch some more sometime, or you want to see some of my other content, consider subscribing, or maybe look up my Discord, and go on there. I usually post alerts about when I'll go stream and new videos on there, and we can just hang out. And anyway, thanks for watching.